do ba ba ba. All right, greetings from the wasteland. It's Freedom Phil, and what's the topic today? You're seeing all these layoffs in tech, and this is the same tragedy that happened back with the auto industry, the steel industry, and so many American industries. The tragedy is not that you've lost your jobs. It's that you actively participated in missing opportunities that you could have accessed. You could have been self-sufficient. You could have actually retired by the age of 30 if you had actually done what you needed to do back then. The wasted opportunity is the tragedies. What are you talking about? They're losing their jobs. I'll explain. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, and always turn up the video speed. When I upload this, you'll be watching at 1.75. The channel's name is quite literally what you're supposed to do. Turn up the video speed. By the way, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. I'm watching all these people talk about this bloodbath that's happening in the tech sector, and it's sad because some of these people who are getting let go that are coders are actually legitimate workers. But there's a lot of people in these industries that frankly should have been fired fucking ages ago. You got a lot of, Gen Z boss girls or millennial boss girls who basically brought little, if nothing. You were diversity hires. You were hired because there was a lot of government money. The era of Obama is over. The U.S. aid money that was funding a lot of these tech companies is gone. It's just fucking gone. I'm sorry to tell you. But yes, it was a soft propagandic wing that wasn't soft at all. They used these companies basically as a way to censor and control what you could say, what you could hear, what you could be, what you could do. And not make little dossiers on people. Well, that person is part of a group that we don't like. We don't like. And so I see these people, and much like they're surprised that all this is coming to an end, I saw the same thing happen with the auto industry. I saw it happen where I grew up. I remember clear as day the logging crash of the late 80s, early 90s on the West Coast. Those people thought those paper mill jobs would be there forever. They thought those logging jobs would be there forever. And all it took was a stroke of a government pen via a judge to destroy an entire industry up and through Washington and Oregon. Completely destroyed it, and probably Northern California as well. Entire ways of life. People thought it would never come to an end. And they did the exact same fucking thing that these people in tech did. The exact same thing that the auto industry people did. When they had the money, they didn't live efficiently. And you want to know the truth? A lot of the beautiful tech that we have today in van life came from the people that couldn't afford to rent in Silicon Valley. They were the van lifers. Van life has been around for ages, but the solar tech, the solar generator over there that's powering my fridge, the better fridges we have today, it came from people being like, I can't afford a normal life in this tech sector. So they ended up developing better and better. And then people were like, hey, I could work from home. Or with this internet connection, Starlink or whatever they were using, I could work from anywhere. Why the fuck would I go to the office? You see people that be working from home, like in the Midwest, they get a cheap house, anywhere from like say 30,000. That's a real remodel. So let's say 50,000 livable right now, to 150,000 for a really nice place, and they work a job remotely. They're a call center person. The smart people saved their money, invested their money. Their money was making them money, and they are prospering to this very fucking day. I saw this same cycle happen over and over again. It's like living in Groundhog's Day. And look, I am glad a lot of the bloat in these companies is getting fired. By the way, someone needs to have just a nice rational slap across. The women need to go up to women and give them a nice slap of sensibility. Like, bitch, you should feel lucky you had a job being useless for 10 years. You should feel happy there was a bunch of women in the sisterhood that poisoned these companies, probably slept their way up to the top, and then hired a bunch of vapid dipshits like you. You got an opportunity that for God knows how many thousands, if not millions of years of human evolution, your previous sisters throughout the course of time never had. And what did you do with it? You bought nice cars. You bought a nice place in the burbs. We got granite countertops. You got a bunch of shit that does not matter. You got a bunch of stuff at full price. It's this expensive. And when you go to sell it used, yeah, Yeah, you got to really feel that. By the way, I've seen this. What, you have a great example? Do you remember the Bakken oil patch? Oh, God, there were guys killing it back in the day. Bro, look at my truck. Bro, look at my four-wheeler. Bro, before side-by-sides were a thing. Bro, look at my four-wheeler. Look at my Harley. Did they pay cash for a house? A lot of these guys came out of the Rocky Mountain state up north. Yeah, I think it's funny. The other day, by the way, if anybody wants to talk, subscribers only. Why? Because why should I read your comments if you don't actually, subscribe? By the way, and thanks for the subscription, thanks for the likes. But these guys came from towns where I bought my house back in the day for just right around $50,000 back 20 years ago. They could have bought houses cheaper than I was getting. Then when they were in the oil patch, after the crash happened, because the oil patch was still a thing, they could have went back and bought a house bigger than mine for probably $30,000 to $40,000 when the recession hit. Bro, look at my pickup truck. Look at my giant Tonka toy. So I'm not just ragging on the people on the left. I'm not just, ragging on these people who fucking work on it. Like, you might be my ideological enemy, but the real tragedy, just like with the auto sector, just like with the steel sector, just like the logging sector, just like with the oil patch, just like with the tech sector, is the fact that when you people are standing, you have a golden goose that's laying golden eggs. You don't take those investments, that money, and invest it. You basically piss it away. You make money today, and you piss them away even more of it today. There's the tragedy. You could have had a Norwegian infinite money glitch, where it's basically like, hey, man, our investments are paying dividends, and we're now the investor class. If a guy like me, who drives a truck when I choose to work, if a guy like me can live off, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a year, let's just say $5,000 a year, makes 80 to 100K. Let's go off 100K for easy numbers. Government in a state, that has no state income taxes is going to be taking, what, 10,000 a year? Then live off 5,000. I've got over 80,000 there to invest every year. Some of it being tax deduction as well. Like, if a Cro-Magnon motherfucker like me, a knuckle dragger like me, can win the game really easily. And by the way, I am a minimalist to a level that most people can't comprehend. I take it to a deep spiritual level. I don't expect you to be like me. I expect most of you want to live in a house. You want to live in a nice, normal situation. But there are tons of affordable houses in the Midwest. Don't believe me? Just get on Google Maps, look up a random city in the middle of nowhere in Texas, the South, wherever. You could have one house in the north, or just you could have one lot in the north, and then, for an RV situation, and then a house somewhere that you want to reside for tax reasons. Yeah, you do not have to pay the suburbia prices, especially when tech has gone. In this modern age, tech has gone to a situation where you could be someone working like a call center job from home. Auto insurance guy. I bet there's a lot of Americans, like, let's just say, well, you're only making $60,000 a year, but you're debt free. $60K a year and only probably paying $5,000 to $10,000 in taxes. You got $50K a year to do whatever the fuck you want with, because you managed your game right. I am telling you, the reason that this is a tragedy is only because every time this happens, they all look around all stupid like. And you know what? There are people like me out there. And we are patiently waiting for you to trip and fall. That's horrible. How could you say that? I'll tell you why. Because while we were doing what actually works, you were laughing. Fair enough. Enjoy your hearty laugh. But when we're buying your boat for pennies, when we're buying your house, when it goes to foreclosure for practically nothing, your RV, your Harley, all the things that you thought meant something to show off to all the people around you. Those of us that are patient and invest, we'll always have extra money around. Oh, it looks like we want a new pickup truck. Well, that guy who was the construction bro when there was a boom is now realizing he doesn't know how to do his taxes and he's losing everything. He'll take whatever he'll take. We'll be reasonable. We'll give him a reasonable offer, but it's still going to be in our favor. Understand the same system that the 1% uses that you hate so much, you could have been using. You could have been doing it. You ask yourself about, and I've talked about critical thinking. I hate the term critical thinking because people use it as a way of saying, well, if I have this witty argument about something, what the fuck does that do for you? You know what matters in this damn world? Tactical, economic, strategic thinking. If you win the argument against, like, say you're a liberal and you beat the chuds, the Republican chuds, whoop-de-fucking-do. And the world keeps spinning and it doesn't matter. And if you're a conservative and you beat the wokey liberals, big fucking whoop-de-doo, it doesn't matter. Just like who won the Super Bowl, that's fun to watch, that was cute, but at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is when you're young, healthy, and have no real problems, getting your money out there and getting it working for you. And if something as stupid and retarded as the S&P can be paying a paltry at the low end, 10%. Hell, my nephew, who saved his pennies and dollars and is far worse of a situation than most of you, he has a disabled child. He had a tragedy that he was taking care of. Loves his kid. He's a good papa. He still managed through all of that, taking little bits here and there. When he was working as a pipe fitter, he still managed to take that money. He took some like a 60-something thousand. He worked and he saved. He was saving his money. He's turning it into over 400,000. Now, wild thought here. He is not a genius. He's not stupid, but he's not a genius. But he has learned how the system works. He has learned how to harvest his tax losses. So an average motherfucker like him, no offense if he sees this, has taken the time that he could have been wasting on whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, video games, the internet, whatever, sports, showing off to your friends about what you're driving, what you're wearing, what restaurant. Restaurant's got to be the greatest joke in the world. Whether it's a bologna sandwich or steak and lobster, it all turns into a turd. I did a video on that recently. We live in a golden age, and nobody realizes it. And I've seen this pattern over and over. It's like just like Groundhog's Day, man. It's going to happen again. And this is part of the reason I say, do we really have a deficient birth rate? Do we really need to have more people? You don't even have a job for them in the future. And the jobs that we really need people to do, like plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, framers, people to build houses, mechanics, electrical engineers, lots of, jobs that and by the way, all the woo-woo science, and that's a whole separate conversation, the fake ass woo-woo science out there. Like, if you were to try to replicate it, you couldn't. Poof, that should all be gone. But all the functional shit, like the real trades, how electricity works, how's that line go? Magnets, how do they work? I'm just saying. All the real, actual science out there. Real engineering jobs, real trades jobs. You motherfuckers avoid that shit. But guess who's still got a job? Guess who's still in demand? I mean, hell, I'm a trucker. And for another 5, 10, 15, 20 years, trucking will still be a thing. That gold mine's still there. Free apartment on wheels. 3 weeks of training, 3 weeks of a driver training, and you're off to the races. Get the government to pay. Hey, by the way, if you're getting laid off, maybe milk that money for a little bit, that severance, and then get that unemployment. And at the very end, get the government to pay for your trucking school. I'm just saying. Free apartment on wheels. Now, if you can do an affordable living situation in these cities, live with a bunch of other people, a share room, van life, Live with your parents if that's possible. I've said it for a long time. We need bachelor and bachelorette pods. We need the bachelor building and the bachelorette building. That way, young people can have affordable housing and work these jobs and save and invest their money. Become the investor class at the age of 18. Be ready to rock and roll at 16, investing at 16, out there doing it. Everybody's trained as an accountant, so you know the tax laws that benefit you. Y'all get mad. Y'all get mad at the 1%. But you should be pissed off at yourself for not learning these basic tactics and these tax laws. You should be pissed off at the people that groomed you to go to university. You know? They told you to go to university. They told you to go to university, but they didn't tell you get a worthwhile degree. No. We live through these golden ages where everything's great and then the world changes, things readjust, and then slowly we build back up. But if you just sit back and realize, wait a minute. If I just invest my money, then I'll be pulling the Norway infinite money glitch. Where my investments think about your hard labor like oil, like taking oil out of the ground. Because it's your blood, sweat, and tears. You're not getting that back. You invest your money to make you money, and then by the age of 30, 7 to 10 years, so whenever you start, 7 to 10 years later, you're retired. But what I've said is actually, there's some real critical thinking there. Strategic thinking, mathematical mindset. That is what will build you into something. This is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Take it easy.